Stephanie always dreamed of becoming a mother, but her journey took unexpected twists that tested her faith, resilience, and mental health. After facing a heartbreaking loss, she found hope and answers in a surprising place. In this episode, she opens up about the powerful role of Naprotechnology in her story and how it is inspiring her to help other women on their paths to motherhood. Whether you're navigating fertility challenges or just need a dose of hope, get ready for a heartfelt conversation filled with wisdom and inspiration. Welcome to Fertility and Wholeness Podcast. Are you tired of seeing that test be negative month after month? Will you ever stop having to take test after test? Are you scared of all the medical terminology, office visits, and misinformation you see at every turn on your infertility journey? If you answer yes to any of those, you're not alone. You are at the right place. I'm so happy you're here with us. My name is Ariana. I'm a fertility care practitioner and a wholeness coach with over a decade of experience on the field. I created this podcast because I know what it is to feel alone and lost while navigating fertility problems. And after helping hundreds of women, teaching them how to not protract their cycles, boost their fertility, and navigate their monthly emotional roller coaster and get pregnant naturally, I am on a mission to empower women to take charge of their fertility journey. In this podcast, you will find heartfelt conversations, education, tips on how to take care of and understand your fertility, emotional support, simple lifestyle changes to boost your fertility, nutrition, self-care routines, tips for handling stress and anxiety with ease. We have amazing, exciting expert interviews and guests, inspirational stories, and practical advice on preparing for pregnancy and joyful delivery. Are you ready to reclaim your health, your life, and become pregnant naturally? If so, grab your green juice and prenatal vitamins. This episode is just what the doctor ordered. Stephanie to this episode. Stephanie is a marriage and family therapist. She has been my client for some time. I have the privilege to serve her and to journey with her. Today, she's here to share with us her fertility, her faith, her Napro journey, and mental health. So take it away, Stephanie.
Thank you, Ariana, for having me. I really was looking forward to your podcast and, being able to share my experience and my background with others to bring awareness.
Yes. I want you to take us back. What led you to get started on this journey? Tell us anything about that, you uncover on the process. And of course, we want to know the happy ending too.
Yes, of course. Well, I've always dreamt of being a mother. It was always, I felt like just a very natural instinct. I've wanted kids my whole life since I could remember, a little girl. And I got married with my husband. We were planning. I was really urged right away. He was like, well, we could wait. We could enjoy our marriage. But I was just like, no, I am ready. I want to be a mom. Time's, the clock is ticking. So at that time, I think I was like 30, 31. I had just turned 31. And I was able to get pregnant really quickly. I was really excited. At the beginning, it was really early. Like I was checking my cycles through online, just like the apps. And right away, the lines would fade. I wouldn't even make it to the hospital to go get doctors to go get tested. Because at first I was like, okay, that's normal one time. And then it happened again. And then the second time. And then I was like, well, I should just go get checked, get a regular, OBGYN appointment. Did that. The doctor's like, that's normal. Don't worry about it. It looks like everything's fine. You just have regular cycles or what they call regular cycles. And, I just went with it. I didn't really know much education wise about my body or about fertility. I did my own research, started looking into it. And then I started noticing that it was really mentally affecting me. It was like not many people talk about the early pregnancy loss. They're just kind of, you hear the word miscarriage and people are just like, oh, I was pregnant and I knew I was pregnant or I had the baby for a long time. So you feel almost like invalidated by others that, oh, well, you weren't really pregnant, that's normal. Like that doesn't really count. And for others or for myself, I experienced a lot of loss and grief that came with it, not just because I physically wasn't pregnant, but because I wanted to be a mother and I was wondering what was wrong with me, of course, just thinking like all these other answers that you see on the internet. You're like Googling everything, and it obviously makes your mind go another direction. So I advocated for myself when I went to my OB, and I requested to see a specialist because I was like, this is not normal. Like maybe I did exaggerate at the time because I was like, I don't want to be unseen. So I was like, this isn't normal to me. I have normal cycles. You're telling me, why am I not getting pregnant? I'm young. I need more answers. So my doctor was really old traditional doctor. He agreed with me. He's like, sure, let's do this. Let's send you to a specialist. We don't know why this is happening. So we did all kinds of blood work. We did biopsies. We did, the tubes, checking the tubes, and everything came back pretty much normal. All my blood work came out normal. The doctor was like, well, I guess, I could give you like Clomid, or I could give you another medication, but maybe you could get pregnant naturally and then come back to me and we'll talk about it. He was very dismissive. He was nice, but he wasn't like very like worried about me. And I was worried about me, So I was like, if he's not going to worry about me, what am I going to do? So I just continued my journey doing research and learning more about the body, about myself. And I was listening to Relevant Radio, which is a Catholic radio station. And they promote, there's a talk show. It's Trending with Timmery, and she promotes a lot of Naprotechnology. And she sought out Napro because they told her she wasn't going to have babies because she had PCOS. And I had a suspicion I had PCOS, but I was never diagnosed with PCOS. So I was very, overwhelmed with like all this information. But at the same time, I was like, why don't I just give it a try? But I was like, well, I need to talk to my husband. And I said, let me pray on it. Like, let this sit and like, let me explore what my options are. So yeah, I looked for some in prayer. And then I ended up actually feeling very secure with, talking to my husband and just saying, I want to do this. I want to do this for us, not because I want to go through this other fertility journey, like this long, but I want more deep answers. And this, for whatever reason, is calling me. And he's like, okay, if you want to do it, I will support you. We can start the process. We could look into it. So our closest Napro doctor was pretty far from where we stay, but we also kind of had support where the Dr. Segan was. So it was, we had friends near the area. They were very supportive. They were like, you can sleep over, you can have your appointment early in the morning. Then, we could work through it. Any emotional support, anything you need. And yeah, we did the appointment. Dr. Segan was, took us on as a couple. We did a lot of the research prior to that. So I had already started doing a lot of the low detox life, taking things out of my day to day, changing my lifestyle. But I ended up learning way more with Napro and then getting, more information about my body. I got extensive blood work, confirmed that I had PCOS. They supported mental health. They provided Ariana, which was great, a lot of support emotionally and just guidance. And through the creatine model that I learned that I had no idea how to work through. So it was just very beneficial and it made the journey a lot more enjoyable than what I was doing on my own, because I felt alone. I felt that nobody was like, I didn't need anybody to handhold me through my journey, but I wanted someone to kind of validate and, support me and guide me. And I think it helped that Ariana had already gone through her own journey with Dr. Segan. And I reached out to other people who also had done it. And it just gave me that validation I needed that I was in the right path. I also went through a lot of support through obviously my family, my community, my church, a lot of retreats for, self-healing because of the losses. So backtracking a little bit post that, before that Napro journey, I think I skipped a few. Post my marriage right away, I was able to get pregnant. And then I ended up getting pregnant 3 times, like the first few months. And then I got pregnant. It was a lot of stress that I was putting pressure on myself. I know that, but I was able to get pregnant towards my birthday, probably like a few months after. So I was already turning, I think at that point it was 32. And I ended up miscarrying a few days after my birthday. And that was really tough. I grieved a lot. And that was prior to Dr. Stegan. So I ended up, journey those few months were really tough. And that's till I found Napro. And then I started Napro in, sorry, my math is probably wrong, 2022 with Dr. Stegan of January. Sorry, 2023. I'm like trying to think when I got pregnant. What year we were? 2023, yes. And then the last miscarriage was 2022 in June. And when I ended up finding out, the results of my blood work and everything, confirming that I wasn't ovulating, that was May of 2023. And I was really distraught. And my family was like, well, just let it be. Don't stress about it. Everybody mentions that, and as a mental health provider, of course, I know that what stress does to the body and just your mental health. But for whatever reason, this passion and what I wanted wasn't just going away. Even if I wanted to kind of like take it down and just relax, it was always in the back of my head, and it wasn't helpful. Like, not that it wasn't helpful, but it was really hard to see my friends and my family or with babies and love, because I would have envisioned myself as a mother already, or I would have had a baby if my pregnancies were losses. So that was really tough. We had a retreat at my church, and I went to that retreat that month of May, which is the month of Mary, and I felt peace. I felt secure. My husband had planned this lovely birthday vacation to Hawaii. I was like, okay, well, I already know this is it. Like, I can't stress about it. I don't have control. I'm not ovulating. I said, I'm not gonna, at the end of the day, when I come back from my vacation is when I'll do the other tests, and I might possibly need the Napro surgery, which that was a journey also that I had to prepare myself for. And a lot was going on with work. I was busy, ended up feeling a little bit of symptoms, but I was like, well, let me test, because I fly out to Hawaii early morning. I said the next day, let me test and see if I'm pregnant. And I checked at probably it was supposed to be my 8 days post, ovulation. And the line was very faint. Of course, I came with a lot of emotions, excitement, but also a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety and worry. So right away, I called the office of Dr. Stegan. She wasn't even available. She wasn't working, but her assistant helped me. She's like, let me contact her. This is important. Let me see if she can give you the prescriptions that you need. Right away, they got to it. They helped me. They got me. She's like, do this and that. I need you, Right away, Dr. Stegan ordered tests for me to go get labs, post positive pregnancy tests, progesterone. She ordered other vitamin supplements, and then she had me also request blood work while I was on my vacation, which to me was intense, but I was like, okay, I'm going to do what I got to do. And that was very overwhelming in itself. And I hadn't even told my husband. I think I told Ariana first. I told, and my mom knew, but I was like holding this excitement, but at the same time, a lot of kind of a fear with it because of my losses, but I had hope that this was going to work out. And I ended up gathering everything. And like, when my husband came home, I surprised him that we were pregnant. He was like really shocked. He couldn't believe it, because we had just heard that that month that that I wasn't ovulating. So that was a lot of like mixed emotions, but we were thrilled. We couldn't believe it. And it just was an amazing gift, because I found out I was pregnant exactly a year from my last loss. So that just kind of was like a reminder that like how God works and the timing that he has, that I have no control over it, that at the end of the day, it was going to be when God wanted it to be. And that was very special. And that journey was intense because I was constantly getting my blood drawn every 3 days for the HCG to see if it was going up. And then I had to get progesterone tested every 2 weeks till pretty much I delivered, pretty much in my last trimester. And I was on progesterone the entire pregnancy. But again, everything that support that I got from Napro and Dr. Stegan and her team and the journey in itself, it was not easy. A lot of the low detox, and having to not, eat certain foods and be aware of what you consume and what you do for your body. It is a lot, but at the same time, it's like I had a bigger goal and I knew the end game, and that was like my reward, and I knew, and it kind of validated that I did what I could, at least in my control, and then God played the rest because baby boy, he's now healthy. He's 6 months, about to be 7. He had also a very high risk pregnancy that was very challenging, but at the same time, I just kind of like had to let go and let God, take care of it, because I couldn't focus on what this could happen. I didn't want to transmit also all that anxiety to the baby. I needed to make sure that I was as calm as possible. Of course, being aware that things could happen, but not fearful of it, not letting it take control of me, and just being careful and enjoying the pregnancy as much as I could, because I wanted that. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be pregnant for so long. It was exactly what I probably imagined. It was tough, but it was a beautiful experience with giving birth. And it wasn't also easy. I had a lot of challenges with the birth too. It made me kind of open, that I can help others bring awareness to when it comes to the journey of fertility, mental health, Napro, and just kind of doing a journey that doesn't have to do what everybody's doing now. What is acceptable in the cultures, or maybe another, just in the world that we live in now. It's like IVF, IUI, and you're going through these things that not only, as a Catholic are frowned upon, but like, and it's not just that, it's just like there's more to it, but you're not getting to the root cause of it. Why is everything happening? But also, like, they forget that this IVF is a business to them. They don't care to see what's mentally causing you, or just causing you a lot of other symptoms, and then the hormones they put into your body. And there's just so much that goes into it. And if you're going the Napro route, you get more answers. You get, support, like a team. It feels different. It doesn't, I never did IVF, but I know people that have, and I know what it entails. So I knew I didn't want to go that route, even though everybody was like, just do it, just do IVF, just do that. And it's like, I wanted something more holistic, more wholesome, something that, and yeah, that's what I got with Napro. I'm very happy with that and my decision. And if I would have to do it again, I would do the whole thing again. Just very grateful, for my son and for the miracle that, that God has given me, and the people he's put in my journey. And I'm very blessed. And I feel like I definitely want to be able to help others when I can, when it comes to that, with like knowledge or information, support, emotional support. I think I try to do that, whether it's friends, family, clients. Yeah.
So, Stephanie, for the sake of our listener, I think it's good for us to have, when you started with Napro, how long did it take you from the initial call to make that appointment all the way to the positive pregnancy test? Because, like you're saying, with IVF or IUI, they're promised a result within a couple months, right? And it's not the same when you're doing investigation and tweaking and confirming ovulation, and maybe we need this supplement and less of this and more of this, and making lifestyle changes that might not have an impact the next day. So can you speak more to that, the time that it went from the initial call to the positive pregnancy test?
So the initial call was in December of 2022, and then I started Napro 2023, January, and I got pregnant June 2023. So it's about 6 months. That's kind of, and even then, I think that's kind of what the first program that she offers is about 6 months long. And then she extends it as you need to. Of course, every Napro doctor is different, but I know she accommodates as needed. The first 3 months are pretty much the detox that you do and learning crane to model. And then the other 3 months are more extensive testing with the Dutch test, blood work, ultrasound ovulation checks. And if you need scheduled surgery, that's kind of what she works through.
You also mentioned how our team, like you call me first to say I'm pregnant, right? Mm-hmm. So I felt like I'm always very honored because I get to celebrate very soon with my clients. Mm-hmm. But also you were not left alone just because you got a positive pregnancy test and it was confirmed by ultrasound, which is the standard. They see you got pregnant, at least for the artificial technologies, and then they confirm implantation with an ultrasound, and then you're pretty much transfer care to prenatal, which it does happen with us. We transfer care but we don't abandon you. We continue the care. And like you're saying, do you want to expand more what that meant to you to have the ongoing support beyond the confirmed pregnancy?
Yeah, I think that I liked how you put that because I literally, when I was pregnant for the early, the last pregnancy, I was 5 weeks. I couldn't even see a doctor till I was 8+ weeks. And of course, with my history, I was like, I want to see, but nothing is like, no phone call, no confirmation, no, hey, let's get you on progesterone. Let's see your chart. Nothing. It was just like, okay, well, wait, you're still early. It was very dismissive. It's a standard for, the Western medicine, not just kind of like the waiting game. Maybe it has to do with insurance policies or just overall, they know that women tend to miscarry at that time, but it just felt like you're alone and you have to figure it out. And since I had already experienced all that, feeling the team support and the fast problem solving, it gave me that hope. And it's just like that they care. Dr. Stegan cared, the team cared, you cared, that I felt seen. It wasn't like I was just another person that's like, oh, you might miscarry. Oh, well, kind of situation. As a whole, you guys knew that I wanted this so bad that let's figure it out so you can have what you want, because it's a gift, not because, oh, well, if it happens.
And now, shifting a little bit of gears, I know that you found mission in this journey, that you want to support women through this journey. You want to be the go-to person for the mental health. And even though Dr. C and myself as a coach, we offer a lot of that, a lot of this women need healing from their miscarriages, from, like you're saying, feeling unseen and alone. So how did this journey now uncovered to you a new mission as a mental health professional? Tell us all about what are your ideas, because I know through the process, we even talk about that podcast. Mm-hmm. Over a year and a half ago, it was a project already, mm-hmm. but you did share with me that this is a new mission territory for you.
Mm-hmm. I've been working in the field for over 10 years and I love what I do. I was always very passionate of working with a diverse group. I know at the beginning it was kids and teenagers. They were my calling. And then I started working with adults, and I've been with adults for a while now. Anxiety, depression, and trauma have always been expertise that I've worked on with. But since I realized my journey and helped other women, I have other clients who also have, child loss, fertility issues. They have a variety of women health problems. Like hormonal and also just as a woman, like not being heard again by like your doctors or others for your mental health issues, or being postpartum and depressed. That's very common to have postpartum depression or anxiety. I have found that I want to continue to specialize. I have a group already that I've been working with clients, but now I want to focus on more specializing on that part of it, women's health, and doing my own business with coaching. Because as a mental health professional, which I love, there comes barriers. You're not allowed to, let's say, if I have a client that's a family member or a friend, I cannot help them because it's a dual relationship. It's not ethical, it's not legal to provide services, can't charge them for my expertise or anything. But it's not even about the money. It comes just because what I want to do. I don't want to be kind of put in a bubble or in a box of what I want to do and help other people, mostly women. I am looking forward to starting that. And I had mentioned to you too, I wanted to do a podcast. So that may be in the works in the future. I want to work with new moms. I want to work with women who are trying to conceive, women who are trying to start new relationships for themselves, whether it's just healing from past unhealthy relationships or looking to get into healthy, future marriages or relationships. So I'm really excited for that. I know it took a little longer because of my pregnancy. I wanted to be really present for my baby and stuff. And right now, I'm enjoying him as much as I can and working a lot less. So I haven't had time to really put in all the tweaks and stuff I want to do, but I've been working on it. It just hasn't moved to the pace that I want to, but I'm really hopeful that if not by early next year, I'll have things running. And then the coaching probably a little bit sooner. I already have some clients that I'm kind of like working with. It's just, I haven't like put out there like marketing or setting anything of information, but I'm open to taking clients. Yeah. If anybody's interested or, want support through any of, the journey that I mentioned.
So the recap of the session, what were the 3 things that you will say to your old self, the January 2023 version of you, as an encouragement, as a guiding post? You mentioned during our interview stress, you mentioned feeling alone, you mentioned the role of your family and your support system. It had a huge impact in how you move into the fertility journey. And a lot of women felt alone, like you shared today. So I want you to tell us, if I was Stephanie 2023, what would I tell myself looking back?
That's a good one. I probably would have said that trust your instincts, because it's usually like a sign that your body's trying to tell you when it comes to there's something not right with your body or mentally you're not feeling a certain way. It's I wouldn't say don't feel alone, because sometimes it's inevitable in the moments, whether it's hormonal or just a natural, you might feel alone in this journey, but don't feel that you can't reach out to people. There's a lot of people online, friends, and you would be surprised at people that have experienced losses, miscarriages. The more I actually spoke to others and told them my journey, when everybody was like, don't you want kids? How come you haven't had a baby yet? And I would share, well, I said, XYZ has because of this. They would be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. And then they would be like, oh, actually, I had a miscarriage too. Or family members that I never heard of that they had miscarriages were grieving with me. It was very nice to feel support. So I think you're alone in it, because there's more women that can actually, just even as hear you out or offer you a hug, sometimes it's needed. Another one is seek support from a professional if you need to, because this journey is really tough. I always say it's not for the weak. God made, put certain battles for people. And sometimes this is one, because he knows how much of a warrior you can be. And I myself as a professional looked for help with professionals, not only with Ariana, but I also had my own therapist who was very supportive, because you need to mentally be there for yourself and for your loved ones. So, or, again, seek out community help if you need to, feeling like mental health isn't, therapy isn't for you. But usually I always advocate to get support by a professional. Mm-hmm.
Regarding the cradle model system, what do you feel? What was the thing that I taught you that made a difference in your fertility journey? Regarding charting, fertility awareness, we had long sessions where we went in the nitty gritty of your cycles, what was happening, what was the biomarkers pointing to, and that information was used for your treatment. More of the personal cradle model journey. What was the thing that you said, every woman should be charting, or, what was the thing for you?
Well, just because my whole life, everybody as doctors, medical professionals would say my cycle was always healthy, like quotation marks, it was a normal range. And when I started charting with Ariana, I started to see my cycles were extremely long. They would skip. Nothing was consistent. My periods were very short. My bleeding was normal to abnormal range. Was like, I was concerned about the length of just overall my cycles, because that meant like maybe I wasn't ovulating. And that's when I felt that my progesterone was really low. And based on, the information Ariana provided and Dr. Segan, and then the blood results confirmed, it's like that was part of my PCOS. And I'm sure with the trying to conceive, there was a flare up of it, whether I was eating healthy or not because of the stress level. So the Create model just put everything kind of in a visual perspective, even though I kind of had an idea. And I was able to learn more of the details of like the cervical mucus and like just, everything's very vague online. So this is just more extensive, and it made me feel like I wasn't going crazy in a sense of like, well, why do I feel this PMS, or why do I get certain pains during ovulation? And it was because I had really low progesterone. Yeah, it's really helpful.
Well, thank you, Stephanie, for really showing us the journey of somebody that goes through infertility, miscarriages, finding healing, going to, the traditional route, not finding the answers they were looking for, and persevering, really, because you did not give up in the middle of it, despite all the heartache that comes with miscarriages. Then you go into Napro, and it's still a journey, right? It's still not an immediate, but it's worth taking that journey. And you really portray the entire journey to positive pregnancy test and having a baby. You did share with us the challenges that came with pregnancy and delivery. Maybe in the next episode, we'll dive more into the postpartum. What happens when you have the baby? What are the things that nobody told you about having a baby that you're like, wonderful, I wanted this baby, I did all this work, but now there's motherhood, right? Now there is a baby to care for. You want to go a little bit into it? So we have coming up.
A sneak peek. Yeah, I mean, you see things now online, and it's about the 4th trimester, but because you're so busy researching what to do when the baby comes or symptoms during pregnancy, you forget what to do during your 4th trimester, which is postpartum. And nobody warns you about, what it's like, whether you do hospital setting or home birth, but just kind of the fast kind of reactions you have to have, decision making. That's what I was looking for in the hospital when things are not going how you expect it to go. And of course, many women experience traumatic birth, which they start to share. I think sometimes we can share our experiences, but hopefully not share them to scare other women about birthing, because it is a beautiful journey, regardless of the struggle and how hard it is. Again, Ariana shared her Christian hypnobirthing, and that was a huge tool for me. And I think that was a very positive experience. It might have not gone the direction I would have liked, but I still made it as positive as I could have. And of course, with the hormones, it's the trying to figure out breastfeeding and hormones and navigating a baby and lack of sleep is challenging. So Yeah, there's a lot to fill you in about that.
All right, so we will definitely do another episode on the whole fourth trimester for Stephanie. I think it's going to be fruitful for the women that are, we're in different stages of the path, but then we also have to consider the health and all the changes that we're making towards the positive pregnancy test is still relevant. And those same skills that you were using, nutrition, awareness, community, still going to be applicable when you have a baby to care for. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for being with us today. We will look forward for our next interview. And again, you're always welcome here.
Thank you so much, Ariana. It was lovely to be able to share my experience and my journey. I appreciate you being part of it.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, we got a special treat for you. Join our free Facebook group where you can connect with other amazing women and share your thoughts. Join us by clicking in the link in the show notes. We can't wait to welcome you into our supportive community. And don't forget to come back for our next episode, where we'll be sharing even more inspiring stories, encouraging tips, educational insights, and practical strategies. Oh, and before you go, we have a tiny favor to ask. If you found today's episode uplifting and helpful, please leave us a review. It's like giving us a virtual hug, and it helps other amazing women like you find our show. Plus, it makes us smile from ear to ear. And hey, why stop there? Share the love. Tell your Betsy's, your mom, your sister, and even your favorite barista about our podcast. The more, the merrier.